this is my galley, and I love to cook, so I do a lot of cooking. And when I cook, I use a lot of spices, and I just had a dilemma as to where to place the spice rack. I needed a spice rack, and so just, you know, I have a, I don't know, you can see that wok hanging there. I thought about putting it there, but it just wasn't enough room for the amount of spices I like to use. And so I thought about making a real long spice rack and placing it right along that, where that teak beam is. And so the problem with that was it was going to stick out too far and be in the way. So I couldn't put it there. So it took me quite a while to figure this out. And I was kind of getting bummed out about it, because it was just like there's no place to put it. And yeah, you can see I have a few little spices there on the, sitting on top of my refrigerator. The counter there is my refrigerator, next to my microwave. But not enough room there either. And I used to keep my spices there, but I still, you know, I need more room. So I came up with an idea. I was just sitting on my settee over here one evening and thinking about it, and I looked up and I thought, hey, wait a minute, maybe I can put it up higher up. So that's what I did. And I came up with the idea to use plexiglass. That way I can read the labels. I can see all the labels, so I don't grab the wrong spice by accident. So it goes all the way across the top of my galley. And you can see here's some old spice bottles that were my mom's. And they have the original spices in them from like 1963, which I won't be using. They're just bottles that I have that eventually my oven down here, it's a full convection oven, and it also dehydrates. So I can dehydrate, you know, herbs and vegetables and stuff like that. So, so the reason I kept those bottles is they're really cool looking, and I can go ahead and reuse them. But I definitely won't be using any spices that are in there right now. So that's it. So I really love my spice rack. I think it's awesome. It's very convenient, very easy to get to, and it's out of the way. The only problem I have is the plexiglass is held by these, I made these aluminum brackets to hold it up. So you can see one right there, and there's another one over there, and there's a couple more here. There's one there and one there. The problem is I didn't prop up the ends. So the ends of my spice rack are getting a little droopy because the plexiglass is starting to sag down. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to go ahead and make a couple more of these brackets that will hold the ends up. So I just need one at this end and one at the other end. Down here. So that's what I'm going to do now. Okay, I just took one of the brackets off that was up there holding the spice rack, and now I just need to make two more of these just like it. And I can't exactly remember how I bent these. I got my little vise here, and unfortunately the only tables I have to attach this to are made out of teak, and I'm not going to do that because I don't want to damage them. So I do have a workbench up in the bow of my boat, but I got stuff stored up there, and it's hard to get to, and it's made out of teak too, so I don't want to damage that either, really. So I'm just going to have to make do with what I got here. So I happen to have this piece here I was using actually for a light for photographing my oil paintings that I paint, and I didn't like the setup, so I removed this. I have one. I got rid of the other light. I'm supposed to have two. I don't know why I left it behind in San Leandro when I moved, but I did. So I think this is going to work here for one of them, And then I got another piece here I found, a longer piece. I think it'll be easier to use this one because it's already got a hole drilled in it. And my drill bits are really dull. And they even have a tough time drilling through aluminum. So I'm just going to match this up, see if this is going to be long enough. I'm going to match the hole up with the other hole. This has a hole in it, this has a hole in it. Just going to match them up. And once I do that, I'm going to go ahead and just draw a line. See if one of my engineering pencils will work here. The thing I don't like about these engineering pencils I bought is the lead is too hard. I like real soft lead when I'm drawing. And I may not be able to see it. Let's see. Oh yeah, it's working. Oh, that worked good. Okay. So now I'm just gonna tilt this down just to see if this is long enough, and it looks like it definitely is. And flip it this way, and perfect. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and, I think I'll just go ahead and mark this end for now. And I'm gonna mark where the bends are. Let's see if this is gonna line back up when I go back the other way. So I think I'll bend it right about there. And right about here. I'm trying to kind of get in the center. So, and I'll see if this is going to line back up. Make sure I didn't move it. And perfect. Lines right back up. Close enough. Okay. So I got my lines drawn on here. I have to cut this end off, so I'm going to do that next using my Dremel tool. Easiest way to do it. So I got to cut both ends. And I need to replace the carbide cutting bit because this one's way too small. Or down. So I'm going to go ahead and start cutting the ends. Always wear your eye protection when you're doing this stuff. I've had one of these carbide cutters just shatter, and it was pretty scary. So sounds like my bearings are getting wore out on this thing. Getting hot. That's what you got to watch out for. Doing it again. All right, and let's go from the other side. Okay, so this was getting pretty hot. So what happened was why it was I was getting kickback with it was because I was cutting a slot and it was starting to get hot and I couldn't hold on to it, so I had to kind of move my hand. So I pulled the blade back out of the slot that I was cutting. And every time I tried to put it back in that slot, it kicked back. So I had to start and cut from the other side to finish it. So you got to be real careful. Aluminum, as light as it is, it's not always real easy to work with. Grinding, using a grinder to grind it, the aluminum gets embedded in the grinding wheel, and so it can be, then the grinding wheel doesn't really do much. But so Now I just got to cut off this other end and round it a little bit because I rounded these slightly, so I'll have to use another bit. But I'm going to go ahead and cut this one, and hopefully I don't have a problem like I did. This is getting hot, it's hard to hold on to, so I'm just gonna grab the paper towel. Okay, now you see my grinding wheel's already getting aluminum embedded in it. Okay, the reason I did that was I just wanted to round off the edges so they're not sharp. So that looks pretty good. I'm going to grind back in the opposite direction here because I got little pieces that are kind of hanging over the edge. And again, you want to wear safety glasses because I did have pieces just now flying in my face. So. Okay, that looks good. Okay, so I'm just going to do a little bit on this end. I really don't need to. Did I do them on this? Not really. I don't think I'm going to worry about it because this is going to be up against the wall, so there's no way I can get cut or caught on it, so I don't have to do anything with that. Okay, so I got my 2 marks now where I'm going to bend it in 2 places, and I'm just going to darken them down a little bit and make sure they look straight. I'm going to use this as a straight edge. This one's a little crooked. Okay. Now I'm gonna have to bend it. So let's see how that goes. So I think I'll just put it in my vise and I may do a little touch up on it when I get it bent. So I can still see the marks. I bent it now. Okay, so I'm just going to put it in the vise and pound it over. So let's see which way would be easiest. If I'm going to hold it in my hand, I'm going to hold this and pound it with another. So I think I'll pound it in this direction. So I just got to put this in. So now I'm just going to make sure that I have it in straight up and down in the vise. And I'm going to have the line that I drew sticking up a little bit higher than the vise because if I put it flush, then it's not going to bend in the right place because I've done this before and I know what happens when I do this. So I'll just make sure it's straight so it'll bend straight. Now I'm just going to get a hammer and pound it over. So I got 3 different kind of hammers here. Got my trusty hatchet. I use a hammer a lot. And I got the smaller one, so this is real handy to have. I use this for a lot of things. It's kind of got a chisel end on it. And if those don't work, I got this. This is my sledgehammer I built. I worked out on a research farm, so I built this hammer. And it was just, I found this end here, this piece here was a machined part for something. I have no idea what it was. It was in our scrap pile. And I just welded this handle on to it. So it's all stainless steel. And I don't think I'll start with this one though. Let's see if I can, I think I'll use the small one first. It might work fine. Put my glasses back on. And it'd be nice if I had a workbench to hook this to. But like I said, all the tables I have on this boat are made out of teak, and I'm not going to damage them. So there goes. I don't know. Yeah, I'm gonna have to set this on something. I did these other ones, and I can't remember how I bent them. I have some vice grips, but I don't think I did that. I think I pounded them. It's starting to bend a little. So I just need something. I don't want to damage this teak here. This is my kind of like my workbench, and fortunately I haven't drilled into it or cut into it yet. I really should get a piece of plywood to put down here so when I'm doing this kind of stuff. I'm going to set it like this, and hopefully I don't damage this. And just keep trying to pound it down. I can't get a good, how in the hell did I do this? There we go, just hold it in my hand, it's working fine. Oh, yeah, it seems like I remember this happening before. Well, I got me a little stress fracture going here, and basically it's a piece of junk. Well, so much for that. Well, just have to do it again. That's all there is to it. So when you bend this aluminum, you got to go slow. And when you bend something, it actually heats up. When I put these in, I don't put them in all the way, because sometimes even though I loosen the chuck, I can't. It gets stuck and I can't pull it out. So what I do is I leave it sticking up a little bit. So if it gets stuck, I just push it in once I loosen the chuck, and then I pull it out. So I don't know why it does that, but it does. I've had two of these and they both did the same thing. So okay, here we go again. This time, instead of cutting through on one end and then just cutting all the way through across, I'm just going to go across, back and forth across the top, and just slowly go in. That way I won't get kickback like I was getting. Okay, so it's good enough. Now I can just break it the rest of the way by bending it. Okay, now I just got to grind it down a little bit. It's pretty hot. Yeah, this thing's hot. Ouch. Okay, now I'm going to go real slow with this. Just a little at a time. Because what happens is when you bend it, it actually gets hot. And I think that's part of the problem. I should have made these out of brass instead of aluminum. It would have been a lot easier. So I'm just going to take my time bending it, just a little at a time. That's a little too far. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put it in the vise and just bend it by hand. And I also got ahead of myself. I should have drilled the hole first before I bent it. So I can't bend this until I drill this hole, because now I'm not going to be able to get the drill in there. But this is okay. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to put it in the vise this way. Tighten it down. And just bend it by hand back up until it's 90. Okay, I'm going to start with a small drill bit, make a pilot hole first. I find aluminum to be harder to work with than just about anything. A lot of people don't like working with stainless steel, And a lot of people say mild steel is a lot easier to work with, but I really prefer working with stainless. I find it to be easier than even mild steel. Of course, if you weld aluminum, you can't get 100% strength on the weld like you can on mild steel or stainless steel. I think it's about 80%. So the welds aren't as strong, but and then you got to use like helium, combined helium and arc welding because of the impurities. Aluminum is just, it's like a sponge when it comes to impurities. So you want, when you weld and stuff, you want the metal to be clean. Usually you grind it first to clean it. When you drill, you want to go slow. You want this drill bit to spin real slow when you're drilling metal. So this is cutting really nice. I don't know if you can see it, but it just leaves a little curly Q piece of metal that comes up out of the hole where you're drilling. And so once you get a pilot hole through here, then it's easier to drill with a bigger drill bit. You can see I'm going slow with the speed of the drill. Oh, that felt weird. Oh, okay, I see what happened. The drill bit slipped inside the chuck. No big deal. I'm almost all the way through. And there it is. So that was easy. So now I got a pilot hole. Okay, now I got to drill a hole the same size as the hole the original one has. So just got to find a drill bit that fits in there. I know somebody that was using a drill. It wasn't one of these. These are real. I mean, these electric cordless drills are really powerful. But this was way before there was really cordless drills, and I worked as a framing houses. I did just very short time, but one of the guys, we had some drills that were really big, and drilling holes so you could going through the bottom plate that goes on. You drill into cement, so I had you could put these bolts to hold the walls. And he was drilling with it, and the drill bit got bound up, and he literally broke his wrist from the drill. So, and I've had, even this drill, I've had it bind up, and it can really twist your arm pretty good. Okay, so just got to drill this and then bend the other one, and this one will be done. Again, just go slow. That's all you got to do. Don't have to go fast. It's cutting in really good. Looks great. I don't know if you can see it. Let's see if I get some of the stuff out of the way. Maybe you can see it better. And I see wood coming up, so that means I'm through. Yep. Okay, so there's the hole. Now I just got to bend this other bend here and not break it, so just got to go slow. Okay, I'm going to try bending it by hand now. So I'm getting a little bit of an S curve in it. See if I can get that to bend out. Well, the screw should fit fine. Yep, perfect. Okay, so I just looked. This end here is a little long, and I got a piece of teak that runs across the ceiling of my boat, and it was perfect. It went right up and butted up against that teak, and it fixed the droopy end of my spice rack. So I got to just do another one for the other end, but it's getting late. As you can see, it's getting dark. And that's how I make my little brackets here. And so I got to go get cleaned up, take a shower, go grocery shopping and stuff, and cook dinner. It's getting late. So at any rate, if you found this video to be helpful or entertaining, please like and subscribe.